All right, thank you for joining in on the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. And let's get started on your questions. Okay, first one, developer projects. Hello, is it possible to add a status or progress bar of some kind for help tickets that we submit? For example, I have had open a few tickets that are waiting on the development team to review and or fix it. But it would be nice to see a time frame or status for my help ticket, especially when I have to wait for the development team. Well, this would, well, ideally, yes, it would be helpful if that thing is possible. But the internal scheduling of our development team is really complicated, and since we have lots of different tickets and issues working on at the same time, so it changes a lot. So it's very hard for us to have developers commit to an external schedule. So even for the internal schedules, it changes. It evolves a lot around different IDs. So it's not going to be very easy to have this type of uh, like status report for issues. Like, I think this would be pretty much the same case for like any open source project that you see, or even some commercial projects. It's very hard to see that, oh, we're about here 10%, 20%, because usually it's not a linear progress. So usually is that, the developer has like 10, 20 issues on his hand. If he can find some time in this week or this month to work on this at all. So it's usually a 0 or 100 thing. So it's usually not a linear progress percentage. So usually it's just not how developer works. It's generally, development. If it's a matter of if the developer can spend the time on this issue at all, and usually it will be, oh, I fixed this, with when I fixed it this time, or I tried it, for a few hours, and I still haven't come up with a good solution. But he has done something, but the real progress is still like 0. So I hope this kind of clears up how developers develop, and the reason why it's so hard to have a exact progress for developers is just the way developing software goes. So that's the same problem for project managers, because a lot of times, especially for issues, it's 100% or 0%. It's very hard. It's quite rare to have it like, oh, I'm like 30% done with this issue. So it's either if you find the problem, either if you find a fix for this or not. As I explained in the webinar, it's hard for developers to show a current progress on tasks. So yeah, we're still trying to figure out some way. Maybe we can communicate like a ballpark figure of the schedule. Okay, next question. Has it been considered in the future development that reports page have the ability to be customized for the header and footer of the page with fields and company logos? Hmm. Well, it would be kind of hard to imagine how our own reporting page will work like that, with fields and company logos. It would, off the top of my mind, it would be not so easy to design. Yeah, I'm not sure how will we design a a report page with these kind of headers and footers, because in the past, if you want to export like reports with headers and footers, you should be able to do it with mail merge using the headers and footers in Excel or Word. But if you're referring to our standard reports, yeah, we do indeed heard about this, but it's just that we don't even have a good UI design for this yet. No, how do we enable the users to customize the report headers and footers? So it's still a little bit hard for us, just because it will be like building a whole new header and footer feature in Word, in Microsoft Word on Ragic. So that will be kind of like a lot of work. So that's something we do know that there's a requirement, a need for, but we're still contemplating, for a good way to design this into our reports. Header, footer to our reports page. Yeah, just right now doesn't seem like there's a good solution for this. Okay, next question. Developer consideration to user dashboards. Okay, hello. Has it been discussed whether or not a development of Ragic will have the ability to create a unique dashboard homepage for each users? It's online already. And I ask because our company would benefit from unique reports being displayed as widgets for only specific user. Oh, for each user, it will be helpful to switch between dashboards as sysadmin when making updates. So you want to have different widgets for different users. Well, honestly, we have not discussed this, and generally we would think that the account homepage would be the same for different users, but I guess it makes sense that perhaps we can add some type of widgets on the homepage only for certain user groups. So yeah, I think this is something we can consider for our account home dashboard. Like user group, how we can assign user groups to account home widgets so that a widget only appear only for certain groups of users. All right. Thank you. Okay, fixed user for a group. Is there a way to limit what a group of users can see under the listing page? I have 20 plus different teams there, and a lot of cases when team 1 should see records created by team 2, 3, 4, and 5. Team 2 should see what teams 7 to 14 do. And some senior users have to see all the stuff is happening. It's a bit hellish to make tens of different versions of the same sheet. When you want to change a single field or formula, you have to do it 15 times. Well, one for every version. It doesn't, for now, it doesn't seem like you need different versions to do this. And the best solution here should be something like a fixed filter for group of users. You did a share view, which can be accessed by certain groups, but for God's sake, why them cannot be mandatory? Let's take a look at the screenshot. But I do think that, okay, this is, yeah, you're using groups to do these, you're using filters to filter out records based on access right, but that's not the best way to do this. So I think the correct way should be to assign, assign records. Assign records to different users or different groups, assigning records, assigning entries. So what you should basically do is to add fields that specify if this record can be accessed by which groups, and you configure these groups of users as survey users. So survey users can only see records created by them, plus the records assigned to them. So you could use select users to assign records to users, or you could use select groups to assign records to user groups. So this way, it would be just like if the record was created by this user or this record was created by this group, so that he can only see the records he created or assigned to him or the group. Okay? You can use assign entries to change the access right setting for a record by adding select group fields on the sheet. You can specify which user groups, okay, and assign and adding users to the sheet as survey users. You can specify which user groups can see which records by changing the value selected on this select group field. For details, see this page. Okay, I hope this is kind of clear for you. So let me reiterate. So survey user, if a user is of the role survey user, then he can only see records that he created. But that's only the basic definition, because we also have this assign records function, so that you can assign records to a user or assign records to a group. If the record has been assigned to you or a group that you belongs to, it will be just like you are the creator of this record, so that you can see it. Because for survey users, you cannot see a record unless you created or are assigned to it. We call this entry manager, basically. If you can only see records that you are the entry manager of when you are a survey user of the sheet. And on the other hand, if you are a bulletin user role of the sheet, then you can see all records, but you can only edit the records that you are being assigned to, that you are the entry manager of, or one of your groups is the entry manager of this record. Okay, so you're going at it the wrong way. So use the assigned records so that you don't have all these versions. You only need one version for this kind of situation. Okay, next question. Filter depending on the user logged in. Would be nice and really professional to have the ability to filter data according to the login user name. Yeah, I think that's not very hard, and you could, for example, if you have a field that's a user for a user, let's just add a user field here. Is there any user field? Okay, supervisor or deputy. Let's say supervisor. So you could just click on this wheel and change to login user. So this way you're filtering if you are the supervisor of this employee, okay? So if you save this filter, every time you go into the employee sheet, you will only see the employees that have you as the supervisor. Okay. Let me get a better screenshot of this. You can do a filter on logged in user on a select user field like this. Okay. You can also save the filter as a shared default shared view, so that whenever you go to the sheet, the filter will be activated. Yeah, so basically you can filter data according to the login username. All right, next question. Click filter subtable data. Have fields with periods like these. Would like to give users to select less before 2023 January, best with a list of this box of possible values. Huh. I'm guessing that this is okay. In subtables, I don't. Yeah, in subtable, I don't think that kind of um, that kind of filter is supported yet. Yeah, I think it's right now it's only supported with text filters. Yeah, that's something that's currently not doable yet, but like time and range filters in subtables. Okay, so as the workaround, it would be the best way to do this. The best way to do this would be to generate a new sheet from the subtable and then do the filter there as a workaround for now. Supported on subtables for now. As a workaround, you can generate a new sheet from the subtable and do the filter on the new sheet generated. That's certainly something we could add in the future for subtable to filter by time period, but before that's added, and I would suggest that you could create a new sheet from subtable and do the filter there, and from the listing page, the filter is a lot more powerful. Okay, Chinese character in some parts of the menu, huh? Oh wow, this is the system page, and this is a very, very old version of the system page. Yeah, your account must be like over 10 years old, around 10 years old, because that was a very, very old version of um, the create user page. When you're using Ragic to manage your users, you notice that you're using a Ragic sheet to manage the users. So that's actually a Ragic sheet. And if you registered around the account like very, very long ago, you will be using like a very old version of the Ragic sheet. And and this could be fixed by just using the need help or writing to support@ragic.com and telling us to help you update your system sheets to the latest version. That's only a problem for a version that's like 10 years old. Thank you for being such a long time user of Ragic. That sheet should be that system sheet from about 10 years ago and can be and should be updated to the latest version. Please use the need help link at the top right and ask our support staff to update your system sheets. All right. Yeah, because when it's very old, that's a very, very old feature when we can use this as the multiple language string. So it displays different languages under different settings. That's a very old setting, like 10 years ago. All right, and that's it for the question for today. And thank you for joining in for the Ragic Office Hour. If you have any other questions, feel free to use the Office Hour questions sheet, and I'll talk to you guys to answer your questions in 2 weeks. All right, thank you.